In a normal day, these are my shoes. But sometimes, I like to look sexy.
My daughter asked to make identity transition. The child is just saying what everybody thinks.
Forcing your husband to now be in a gay relationship.
Jamie doesn't have a gender. Jamie's not a girl.
The way it has me is so emotional.
Remember that time period when people thought they could be neither men nor women? Like, cringe? I'm gonna stay on the kids and education topic here, because we have a teacher who just wants to express himself at school.
In a normal day, these are my shoes. But sometimes, hell, I like to look sexy.
Oh my God. I don't know where to start. Okay, so 0 out of 5 stars for that strut. Just the randomness of this video alone. Like it's so disjointed. And then we just have a tiny clip of him kicking a football in his heels, then parading through the school with children around, with teenagers around, and then falling over, strutting really badly. And now we see him in the gym with leggings and heels. So I think it's a tricky one when it comes to gender expression, when it comes to how we express ourselves, because if we want to, stop people transitioning kids and not make identity the arbiter of everything these days, then we have to normalize gender nonconformity and, men being able to present how they wish, women being able to present how they wish. I think gender critical people, they take it too far because now they're so lost in this rampage. They're like the other side of trans activists. I saw on Twitter, everyone was saying he's parading his fetish around. It's always just automatically a fetish. And they always post about even just like, Kristen Stewart, we saw her, I'll put a photo up on screen, but she did a shoot for Rolling Stones, I believe it was. And she was sort of emulating a gay man in it, but she's not claiming to be a gay man. She's not claiming to be male. And the GCs, the gender critical people, the TERFs, were just going absolutely nuts, saying she's promoting gender ideology. And it's like, babes, have you forgot what you're fighting for? You're fighting for men not having access to women's spaces. But we don't have to condemn everyone who just wants to be non-conforming and express themselves differently. That's actually the opposite of your cause, and no one's going to take you seriously anymore. So that's one thing. But then with this, there's a few sides to it. So if I was a very feminine gay man, and I do have a certain degree of femininity, but I wouldn't have any desire to wear heels to work. But if I naturally just was very feminine, let's take like Jeffree Star for as an example, was very like always wore makeup just all the time and always had long hair and always had a bit of a heel, then I don't see any reason why not, if it's just part of your normal aesthetic. Now, if you're a teacher saying, sometimes I like to feel sexy, and you're on camera saying that, and then you're strutting around halls with students, that's not appropriate, because we can always just, level this back to, let's imagine a woman doing this. Okay, a woman saying, sometimes I just like to feel sexy, and then strutting in her stilettos around kids, being in the gym in her stilettos, playing football. I don't blame people for thinking this might be a fetish, because no one plays football in their heels. No one goes to the gym in their heels and stilettos. And it's not appropriate to use school as a place to quote unquote feel sexy. Yes, we always wear things that make us feel good. Even, non-provocative outfits can make us feel a bit sexy, but that's something that we keep to ourselves, because we don't bring that into school. And the fact that his school is letting him do this, like, is he the principal? The fact that he's putting it online, it's just so cringe and bizarre when adults who work around kids like put themselves online and know that that the kids that they teach can just find their TikToks. The internet, there needs to be, again, an opportunity cost of deciding, okay, I'm a teacher, that means I can't have this kind of social media, and if I want to work around kids, then I just can't do it. So I think even if you were a woman working in a school and you wore stilettos this tall, so if you're audio listeners, he's wearing stilettos that are pretty darn tall, pink leggings, crop top, it wouldn't work. And we can think of it this way when we talk about drag story hour. People say, what's the harm? Well, just imagine if this was a woman in highly provocative outfit, fake breasts, fake ass, over the top makeup, then no one would want their kids at that. But because it's drag queens and they're inclusive, it should be allowed. I'm not for putting men and women into boxes, but I do think that you have to kind of meet society where it's at, and that's the way the world works, because the world is not all about you. It's not your world and everyone else is living in it. So if there's a certain level of comfortability society is at, and if it's not normal at the moment for men to strut down halls in schools wearing 5-inch stilettos, then you probably shouldn't do it. If it's not normalized yet for men to be out wearing dresses all the time, like you just see them all the time, it's just totally normal, then you probably shouldn't be doing it in a school. And I think that's just the way it is. I think that we can work towards a future where those things are normalized. While it is this way, you need to kind of take baby steps and assimilate yourself. All in all, I think it's inappropriate. I hope parents are complaining about this.
My daughter asked me again to detransition, and this time she did it in front of her father, who also wishes I would detransition. And my heart hurts so bad. Proud of the way I handled it, and I did well, but clearly I still am not doing enough for this child, and I will keep trying. But, afterwards I went for a walk and I calmed down so that I could read the kids bedtime stories and be normal. And I managed that, it was fine. And then the kids went off to bed, and my husband came to, check on me and make sure I was okay. And I was like, we had a longer conversation, I'm just abbreviating it for you. Basically, it's an Emperor's New Clothes situation. The child is just saying what everybody thinks. And as much as I would have loved him to disagree with me, he didn't. Instead, while we were packing lunches, he let me know that he finds it really confronting now that people are starting to gender me correctly, in front of him, particularly my he, him pronouns. What am I supposed to do with that information?
Oh, you poor mother. It's all about you. We need to feel so sorry for you, traumatizing your children, forcing your husband to now be in a gay relationship. You can just see how lost these people are, that they are this level of selfish. That she says, I need to do more work for my kid. Yeah, you do. The work you need to do is not erase her mother. That's the work you need to do, and not have your child lose their mother because you now have decided you want to be a man. And don't get me wrong, I'm really sorry if this person has trauma, difficulties, gender dysphoria. That must be really difficult. But you make the decision to become a parent, you make the decision to marry your husband and then have children together, then you do not take their mother away just because now you've decided your life, your pronouns, your identity takes precedent over the health of your kids. And I just think it's so irresponsible. And we see it, this is like a trans widow, except in reverse, because men who then identify as women and then, their kids have to go through with it, their wife to go through with it, and everyone says they're so brave. She says that everyone else has started to gender me correctly because naturally they probably think that she's so brave. She's kept this secret, since she was a child, which if she has, then you should not have got married to a man and had kids. It's the same thing that if you're a gay man and you want to repress it, so you get married, that's disgusting. I'm sorry, but just because you're struggling, it does not give you the right to pull other people into your lie and into your suppression of your struggles and trauma. They are not characters in a play, in a movie, with you as the central character. They are real people. They are now your children, and you are taking their mother away. And I feel emotional thinking of this poor girl begging her mother to detransition because she doesn't want to lose her mother. Especially trans men. A lot of them are very passable after they've been on testosterone. Can you imagine being a little girl whose mother makes this decision and now she's gone and everything's about her? Oh, I had to take a walk. I was so upset. How about thinking about your daughter and how she feels? I don't think I have anything else to say on it.
I'm like very out at work. At least at my teaching job, I'm very out. I wear my pronouns and stuff. And I'm like, I like correct the kids, and the kids have gotten to like correcting each other. And it was like so awesome today. I was in charge of our like active activity, and one of the kids referred to me as a girl, and one of my kids was like, Jamie doesn't have a gender. Jamie's not a girl. Oh my God. And like the kid was just like, what do you mean? And she was just like, Jamie doesn't have a gender. Jamie isn't a girl. I like the way it has me is so emotional. Like, she like even like said the pronouns to him. Oh my God. She was like, Jamie's they. She's 8. My 52-year-old parents still fucking call me she after being out for 3 years. And I like just told really like started correcting the kids back in like September. Like that was like so awesome. It was just like so awesome. Like I've like never felt more love than like when I'm with my kids. Like they like correct each other. Are you kidding me?
What is happening to the schools? What's happening to the schools? Guys, these are your teachers. Again, it's like you're involving the little kids in your charade, and you are the central character. And these kids are little pawns around you to validate you and give you this gender euphoria by calling you they and saying you're not a girl. You are. You are giving woman as well. The fact that you are getting this upset over this, like happily tearful over kids calling you they, you know, how often do you see men doing that? And I'm not being sexist saying that. I'm just saying there are differences between the sexes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the tears are very forced anyway, so I'm not buying into that. And then I've seen this argument before. She's like, oh my God, my 52-year-old parents can't get it, but these kids got it in like 2 weeks. They're kids. You can convince kids that a man eats a bowl of jelly and works with a bunch of elves in the North Pole and then flies around giving them presents on Christmas Day without question. So you are saying because these kids get it, then, you know, why can't everyone else get it? Yeah, because it's not true. Those kids are going to grow up and be like, you remember that? Like, this is my prediction, is that hopefully sooner, but at least 20 years, non-binary is going to be a thing of the past. And we're going to say, like, remember that time period when people thought they could be neither men nor women? Like, cringe. And those kids will grow up and say, remember our teacher was one of those weird people that convinced us that she wasn't a woman. The level of entitlement and selfishness with people these days is so concerning. And I really mean that. And you have to laugh at it because it's so bleak and it's so depressing, but it's concerning that we have a lot of these people going into these professions and their whole life is just them. That's narcissism, guys. It's when people around you are just pawns in your story, and anything you do for them is just because it somehow fits into your narrative. I'm sorry for the kids.